Here it is, Famous. It's a song about a kid who wants to be famous for loving somebody. Are you sure we want to give a child a sex tape song? Yeah, whatever.
Brunch.
Hit it, boys. The Korean War is over, and we've got new Mason Ramsey. Heat.
Mason Ramsey is the kid from the Walmart yodeling video, in case anybody was wondering.
Yes, we were about to go on. You were like, what's his name again? Mason what? And I said, Ramsey. Remember that name, because we're going to be saying it quite a lot. His first single just dropped. It is called Famous. It is, it's basically his American Idol finale song. You know how they used to do that?
Where they just, like, create the most basic fucking song of all time?
Right, because they were like, all right, so here's your song while we're not spending much money on you because we haven't fucking signed you. And this isn't going to be a huge fucking single, so we're going to hedge our bets here. So here you go, fucking Kelly Clarkson. Actually, no, Kelly Clarkson's was a moment like this. That was a smash
was
single.
it?
But Carrie Underwood had Inside Your Heaven. Do you remember that song?
Nope.
I wanna be inside your heaven.
Oh, that sounds
Take me
familiar.
to the place you cry from.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Is that did you just go to heaven
And cry? That sounds like that's. Why would you want to like
that's
be?
Billy problematic? You're Jack and Billy Joel. Rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. Billy Joel in his own problematic song had a song about crying up in heaven. So Carrie Underwood, pay the man his royalties.
Oh, did you see Carrie Underwood? Like, she finally made her big debut after that facial injury that she was talking about forever. She was in hiding for like 8 months after she had some big accident and suffered like a supposedly horrific facial injury, needed like 60 stitches in her face.
Ooh.
And was like, when I come back,
Her husband would have finished his shift.
when I come back, you guys, I'm not going to look the same. And coincidentally, right after that, Mike Fisher came out of retirement.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that's interesting.
So, like,
your wife
my
splits
wife
her
doesn't
face
look
open.
as good,
Yeah,
so I gotta
I'm going
get
back
outta
to
here.
work. Yeah. But no, she came back like a week ago. Looks exactly the fucking same.
I could not be less surprised that
Yeah.
Carrie Underwood, after being like,
Carrie Underwood probably gets like one pimple and is like, I can't go out. I look like a monster.
and she comes back and looks unbelievable. How many times have you listened to Famous?
3 times.
I've listened to
It
it
is-
a few times.
That song slaps, to BH.
It's a certified banger. It's, as you said, it's pretty fucking basic.
Yeah.
Only
it in
one.
no way invents any sort of wheel.
Yeah. Only one complaint I really have with it is there's no yodeling.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't really. I think I like that. I don't want him to like lean into the shtick.
So, but if he had a Hank Williams type sounding song, I think that would make him more original, which is weird. If he sounded like something that happened a bajillion years ago, that would sound cool. This is just your fucking generic, super auto-tune, like just fucking... It's weird. It makes him sound like fucking... I wouldn't say Luke Bryan, because Luke Bryan is...
Well, it makes him sound like any...
Dar, dar, dar.
It makes him sound like literally any run-of-the-mill pop country star.
Right, which... I actually don't mind that, because it's like, hey, idiots, a fucking dumbass child.
Yes,
can
it is a
do-
very bad look for like the country music scene, because they're saying, hey, anybody can do this. A child can
Right.
be you people.
Y'all are making children music.
We make fun of the Chainsmokers for having like pre-existing formulas
Yeah.
for making hits.
Yeah.
Country music is completely formulaic.
I'd love to find out who wrote this song, because this song was a song that was just kicking around. Some Nashville writer wrote it. It was, and hoping that someone would pick it up, and he got the call.
Yeah,
all right, we're ready to buy Famous from you.
No,
who's gonna sing it?
No, they have a file cabinet full of hit country songs, and they were like, oh, Mason Ramsey needs a single. Okay, they open up the file cabinet and they just file through like, oh, okay, this one should work. Yeah.
Here it is, Famous. It's a song about a kid who wants to be famous for loving somebody. Are you sure we want to give a child a sex tape song? Yeah, whatever. He just played Coachella. He's hot in the streets.
Got to push the envelope. Mason Ramsey going for edgy right off the bat.
The lyrics don't really make sense for a child at all. You said like one of the lyrics is another 5 years. You been with this girl for 5 years, Mason? You're fucking 8. This kid was getting it in when he was 3.
Preschool sweethearts.
How old is Mason Ramsey, do we think?
8.
Do you think he's 8?
Yeah. I mean, he might be 12. 12 and malnourished.
I'm afraid to Google Mason Ramsey age, because when you Google somebody's age, it's usually like Shailene Woodley age, to be like, she's like 25, like, right? I'm not being weird if I think she's
it's cool
pretty.
If I want to fuck her, right?
Right, exactly.
You mean you're not trying to fuck Mason Ramsey?
Not yet.
Not trying to make a sequel to Famous? Famous 2? The sex tape with DJ Bean?
No. I can't imagine a Mason Ramsey DJ
11.
Sex tape would do. 11?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he was...
11 and a tad malnourished.
Yes. He does sound kind of sickly, because he's got a very nasal voice. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see where this Mason Ramsey train goes. I'll tell you what, though. We're both going to be on it.
You know how people say like you have to grow into various aspects of your face or your body?
Yeah.
That kid for sure has to grow into his guitar, because he looks like he is holding a friggin' car when he plays the guitar.
That cover, they were really playing up the this is a child thing.
Get this kid the largest guitar we can find.
Because that is, let me see what the picture is, but it's like, that guitar would be called...
The album cover is 80% guitar.
That would be called, like, it's like a jumbo dreadnought guitar. Okay. So that is the big-ass country guitar. I have a fucking parlor guitar, which is a little... It's like what Ed Sheeran plays. Little itty bitty acoustic guitar. Is that what you've left at my house for like 3 months? No, that's a regular size guitar. But they have little. They're called parlor guitars, and they're what the people like in the South. You drive by and there's some guy on his fucking porch just plucking away that little fucking thing.
I thought that was called a banjo.
No, they play banjos as well. That's a different instrument. But yeah, they went with the biggest fucking guitar in the world.
I do love the fact that that Mason Ramsey is out here cucking Post Malone on a weekend where everybody's fucking talking about Post Malone's new album, and then get out of here.
Couldn't be me.
It's Mason Ramsey's time. Also, I've never listened to a single song by Post Malone.
I was going to say, if there are 2 rappers about whom I care very little this week, it's Kanye West and Post Malone.
I don't know anything about Post Malone in terms of his music. I know what that guy looks like, and that has ruined him forever for me. I see a picture of that guy, and I can smell that guy.
Yeah.
He looks like he smells terrible.
You know what? His car smells bad.
Yes. He is the episode of Seinfeld. Like, he gets in your car, and you have to trade it in.
Have you ever been in a bad-smelling Uber?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a
yes.
a problem. Oh, God, it happened to me once.
It is so bad.
Myself. It was the worst. I was like...
There's nothing you can do.
Right. And if I fucking arrive at some place now smelling like
we've talked about this, I
car...
think.
We'll do a rerun.
Yes. Yeah, where we're afraid that it attaches to us.
Yes. So that's Mason Ramsey talk. I will say we're not done with this. We're gonna have some content related to this song because it is really good. If you haven't heard it, look it up. Mason Ramsey, Famous. It is funny if you search Mason Ramsey on Apple Music or Spotify. You get a bunch of results of people who just fucking remix that song.
Really?
But they don't want to get sued. So it'll be like, Girl, I Love You, in parentheses, feat Mason Ramsey. And you're like, oh, so they just fucking sampled the Walmart Yodel Kid.
That's amazing.
In other music news, Shania Twain is going to be live on the Plaza on the Today Show Monday. What kind of reaction do you think she'll get?
I have no idea. But is it because she has a new album?
Yeah, my guess is there's gonna be a bunch of people holding signs saying where they're from.
From where they're from?
Yeah.
What? I don't get it.
That's all the Today Show
Oh,
is.
really?
Have you ever watched any of those Today Show performances? People go out there and bring signs.
I came all the way from Seattle.
Right.
Congratulations.
You know what my favorite sign take is?
You figured out aviation.
Yeah. You know what my favorite sign take is? That people who go to sporting events for the first time learn that you're not supposed to bring a sign saying how many times you've been to a sporting event.
Yeah, I just think you're not supposed to bring a sign when you go to a sporting event.
Yeah. What kind of loser brings a sign? No, but they bring one that says, "This is my first game." And then they're like, ooh, nobody else here is pointing out how often they come here. Whoops.
And nobody else cares.
Weird thing I'd assumed about sporting events. I thought they were taking attendance. Uh-oh.
And then it's also funny when they do that with babies. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, no shit. That baby is 3 days old.
Yeah.
And it's like, first Red Sox game.
It's like, oh, we couldn't
baby
fucking
is
tell
not
by its
remember
fucking
that.
geeky-ass earmuffs.
Yes.
That fucking loser.
Hold on, I have to go send my sister pictures of Express coupons.
Nice. All right, while Pete is sending Express coupons, I'm going to send a little coupon. It's not a coupon. You got to pay full price, but it's for a good cause. Buy a Cafe Martin hat. I'll tweet out the link if you haven't seen it. My friend Brian started this. It's for our friend John Martin, who was a long-time Nesson photog. If you were a Boston sports fan, he's brought you so much shit over the years. And he, at a very young age, got diagnosed with ALS, has had it now for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And it's been a very unfortunate thing, but everyone has rallied around him, and you go to his house, and they made a obviously because mobility is an issue in his state. They made a little like outdoor patio situation where everyone just goes by, and when you go to see him, that's where you hang out. So they made a sign, and it says Cafe Martin, and people go over there all the time just to hang out with John, and it's the best. So Brian is selling Cafe Martin hats, and they're $25, and the money goes to John's family, pay for those medical bills, keep everything going all right. John has been in awesome spirits because he rules, so I'm buying one. I'm going to get one for my mom for Mother's Day because what do you get the mom who has everything? Get her a Cafe Martin hat. Also, I had forgotten until I was watching the Today Show this morning that Mother's Day is around the corner.
I didn't realize that either, so bad.
What are you getting your mom?
Ugh, God question. What do you get the mom who has everything when she has me?
One time I didn't know what to get my mom, so I got her a walk. I was like...
A walk?
Yeah, I was like, one day,
her on a walk?
you and me will go on a walk, and we'll just check. And she she loved that gift. She was trying to cash that shit in, and I was like, we're not actually going on a walk. That was just a photo.
It was a
thing.
gesture.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to say something nice in front of everybody. Got a lot of DJ's so sweet and probably poor if that's what he's giving his mom. So yeah. Give your mom a walk, and also get her that John Martin hat. In other entertainment news, Colin, Jost, and Michael Che are hosting the Emmys, and boy, oh boy, is failure being rewarded these days.
Yeah, we both had the same reaction. We're like, huh, that's an odd move since they stink at their actual day jobs.
The only thing they do together, they don't do well.
Yeah, it's going to be bad, and I've seen a lot of people excited about it. But I can already tell what it's going to be. It's just going to be them up there, like doing the weekend update thing that isn't good, and they're just going to be laughing at each other.
Yeah,
there's going to be a bunch of jokes that just like don't land.
Yeah,
and they're going to address them and be like, okay, and then they're going to laugh, and that'll be the funniest part.
Yeah,
is them laughing at themselves.
Like Jost is Jost. Che's okay, but he's terrible on
delivery.
Weekend Update. Yeah,
he's bad at delivery.
Right. And obviously he's not good at reading a prompter, or I don't know if it's a nerves thing, but apparently, I didn't know this, when you read something off a prompter, you're supposed to actually know what's on there.
You're
not supposed to just show
seeing
up
it for the first time.
Right. I think I've said this at work. We have a consultant who comes in and will review your stuff and be like, "Hey, here's some things I noticed." And he showed me a clip of me doing a thing off a prompter, and he was like, "So, how many times had you practiced that before you said it?" And I was like, "None. It was on the prompter." And he was like, "A prompter is just supposed to be like a little reminder for you, so like you know where your place is. Like if you go to a stand-up show now, a lot of times you can see that they'll have a prompter, so it's just a thing in case you lose."
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if you watch a John Mulaney special or whatever, you can see just in reflections and stuff, you can see that there's a prompter.
That's interesting.
So it's just supposed to be a little reminder, and I was like, I thought it was script. I thought it was just like a live thing.
That's very weird. I feel like that's. I wouldn't want that at a comedy show because everybody knows that the jokes are written, shit like that.
It is to a T nailed down. Like every word is intentional. Yeah.
Right, but when you go to a comedy show, it's supposed to be presented in like story form and in like a hey, this actually happened to me.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it's definitely weirder in a comedy situation. But I figured that was kind of like known that you were supposed to read it before and be like familiar with the material. Like I've never done work with prompters
glance
really.
At it. Yeah.
But I like to know things before I go into them.
Yeah. I don't know. Preparation wise, I've always my preparation methods probably vary every like 3 months. So I'm much like, you know what? My preparations are like my exercises. Okay. I can't just keep... I'll never be a person who can just go to the gym however many days a week. I need to be really into like spin class for a little bit. And then I need to be into not going to anything for a little bit. And then I need to be into going back to spin class for a little bit.
You need to hot tub your workouts.
Right. Like I used to, when I was on the beat, at first, I would go in with like thorough notes, and I knew I had every question written down that I wanted to ask every person, and I was so prepared. And after a little while of doing that, I was like, my interviews aren't going great. And then I started going in there with absolutely nothing, just knowing when I walked in, here's what I want to talk to this person about. And I was much better doing that. And then I got a little too loose, and then I was like, okay, now I need to. You always. So
I'm like in that spot right now because I've been doing 3 TV hits a day for CBS, and when I started, I was like, all right, I need to be really prepared, write down like a ton of notes so that I know what I'm talking about, and I want to hit all these points. And it's just way more rigid when you do it that way because like it's in your head that you want to hit all these things, and you don't really deliver naturally on any of them.
Right.
And so now I just kind of jot down little notes and try to just make it more conversational and be like, all right, well, if I don't get to this thing, it's fine as long as the other things sound good and like normal.
A huge thing for young aspiring people, if you're aspiring to anything, ask yourself, what was the question? So like you're going to go on and you're going to talk about the Jets or something, and you're like, all right, so the Jets, here are all the points I have on the Jets, Patrick Laine, blah, blah, blah. And they'll ask they'll ask a question that's about the Jets, and you're like, well, I was going to say this thing about Patrick Laine, so here comes this thing about Patrick Laine. And that's what everybody does. Like, they'll just have their stuff that they were going to say no matter what.
And they'll spin it regardless of the question. I've done that a couple times where it's like, well, this wasn't exactly asked, but here's how I make it about what I was planning on talking about.
Yeah, because people want to make it seem like they're there for a reason. Like, they want to kind of prove their worth there. But if they ask a silly little question, give them a fucking silly little answer. And that's Brunch Replaces Syracuse, part 10. So, do we have anything else on Colin, Jost, and Michael Che?
Other than it's
going to be bad.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
I am interested, though. Like, I'm for sure going to watch and keep tabs on how they do. And if they impress, then I'll acknowledge it. But I
won't.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that.
Who else hosts the Emmys?
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler did.
Yeah,
they were the Good Weekend Update people to do it for like. I feel like they did it like 2 or 3 times.
I think that's right. Actually, I I don't know how often I've actually watched the Emmys. I know we did an episode about the Emmys.
Did James Corden do them? Or did James Corden do the Grammys?
I don't know.
Did LL Cool J host fucking... It's always like LL Cool J.
No, LL Cool J was
James
always
Corden.
the Grammys.
Emmys hosts. Let's see.
Girl, I wanna be famous for loving you.
Stephen Colbert did it last year. Jimmy Kimmel, Andy Samberg, Seth Meyers, Neil Patrick Harris, Jimmy Kimmel. Jane Lynch hosted it one year.
Yeah, the Emmys is the most you don't have to watch that show of them all, right? Because no one watches the Tonys, let's be real.
No.
So the biggies are the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys are probably the big three. The Billboard Music Awards, fucking.
But the Emmys is like a party, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Is that the Emmys or the Golden Globes?
Ooh, I forgot about the Golden Globes. But the Golden Globes are just the JV Oscars.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think the Emmys are more fun than anything. Like, I think being a host at the Emmys is better than being a host at the Oscars or
because no one's
the Golden
watching
Globes.
it anyway. So it's very loose. We watched a movie for this week. We were able to finally get a little movie action in, and we saw Rampage. I didn't know anything about it going in. I quite liked it. What are your thoughts on the film, Pete?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It was like exactly what I expected it to be. It was just okay, and it was a Dwayne Johnson movie. It was cheesy.
Dwayne Johnson against essentially 3 Godzillas.
Yep. Very cheesy, like just totally in on all the action. Everything else, like but it was cooler than a regular fucking mediocre Dwayne Johnson movie because it had cool monsters.
Right. I thought that The Rock was great in it. I thought George was unbelievable in it. George is a terrific character, probably my favorite character of the year. He is an albino gorilla, and he is one sassy motherfucker. He is always fucking playing jokes on The Rock, embarrassing him in front of all his friends, and he's just a real slice of life, this George.
Yes.
And George gets injected with some fucking monster shit that is made by villains. The villains in this movie, of course, are Malin Akerman and Plop from The Office. Classic villain duo. They're brothers and sisters. Malin Akerman is a psychopathic murderer, and Plop from The Office just stress eats.
That guy sucks in this movie.
He's
my God.
What a weird... There are so many things that are not explained about that character.
He is always sweaty, very out of breath. Like,
they couldn't get Kyle Chandler, unfortunately.
Yes. And he is just the biggest doofus of all time.
Did you notice, though, that he's always stress eating?
Yeah, I did notice that he was eating a lot. Not always, though.
The first sign of trouble, he starts eating a Pop-Tart, and
Oh,
they cut
that's
back
right.
to him, and
Did
he's
he
eating
have
a
he had
burger.
like a Pop-Tart koozie or something?
He had something wrapped around the Pop-Tart. Yes, I did notice that.
It was I thought that was kind of funny because they were rich as hell, but he was a fucking child. So
Yeah.
that's what a rich child would do. They would get Pop-Tart holders.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in the movie.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan rules.
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
Great.
But he is the same character in everything that he's in. Like, he is Negan in this movie.
He's the character in everything of it's okay, this isn't gonna go how you thought it was gonna go because I'm here now, and you're like, oh man, this character's making things harder.
But he was like a good guy.
Yeah.
He was like a sassy good guy in this.
Well, he was a good guy from the South who was very set in his ways. At one point, he says, well, it's like my grandpappy always said, and I had a realization as soon as he said that. Is every grandpappy racist?
Probably.
Because
That was in
it means a Southern person's...
Southern grandfather, Southern old person.
Yeah,
which
yes, exactly.
The percentages
it
are
just
pretty
means
large.
An old person from the South.
Yeah, grandpappy. Last time I heard that was the Netflix.
Mudbound.
Jonathan Banks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Banks was a huge grandpappy.
Yep, and the most racist.
Maybe the most racist character ever. The only issue I had with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character was his collar. Did you notice that? Oh my God, his collar was a disaster. I didn't understand why, because everything is intentional, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they would make him look like that. He wore a suit black suit, black tie, white shirt, but his collar was just like puffy and folded as hell. It was very
Not
out
great.
of sorts. Yeah.
And I want that guy to be the presentable because
he's very handsome.
Yeah, he's very handsome and he's very methodical in everything that he does with like his mannerisms and the way that he speaks.
Yeah.
So I feel like that guy would take care to make sure that he is well dressed.
You know what Jeffrey Dean Morgan's calling card is?
What?
He looks you in the eye. He's always looking you in the eye as he's saying stuff, and he's always got his head cocked a little bit, and he's got a little smirk. I think
very intimidating, a very intimidating person, because even if he's not saying intimidating shit or just having a regular conversation with you, he won't break away from looking right at you.
What do you think Jeffrey Dean Morgan looks like in like a yellow shirt?
I have no idea.
Like a yellow T-shirt.
Maybe we should send him one of the Randy.
Because
Bad AF.
because all he wears is just like black. In The Walking Dead, he's rocking a leather jacket, I believe.
Is it black?
And he murders that leather jacket.
Yeah, I feel like he could.
But just like he wears like dark clothing. He's an intimidating.
The Rock
man.
looked extra good in this movie too.
Yeah,
he
did.
was huge as always, but he looked massive, and he wore tight fitting shirts that really kind of lent to him, and he had that same. He has that same brown jacket that he wears in every fucking movie that he's ever been in.
Does he? What kind of jacket is it?
Well, he has when the movie starts off, he's wearing that like safari shirt, the beige safari shirt.
Yeah.
Wears that in everything.
You're right. He's wearing that at some point of every movie.
And then he has a brown leather jacket that he also wears. It's like a brown biker jacket, and he wears that in everything too.
Is he in the new the Jumanji?
Yeah.
So why didn't I see that then?
I thought you did see Jumanji.
No, you did.
Oh, okay. I thought we were both supposed to.
I think this might be this was like you were like, I'm seeing Jumanji on whatever day, and I was like, I won't be able to get to it, and you're like, oh no, I just wanted to see it, and I was like, why did someone want to see Jumanji? And then everyone saw Jumanji except for me, so I missed the boat on that. Here's a big note I had. This is probably my biggest takeaway from this movie. All of these movies paint the military and FBI to be very disrespectful. They never listen to experts. What always happens, there's always some sort of scene of there's like an investigation thing going on, and the FBI will be working on something, and the expert on what's going on will be like, wait, but these creatures, if they like, I developed this stuff that is making these creatures act this way. I need to tell you that, and they're always like, hold it right there. I think we've got it. We're the FBI, and they're like, oh. Well, it's just that no one had heard of this thing until this just started happening. So,
but I've been studying it for years.
Yeah, I just like to tell you, ma'am, excuse me, we're the FBI.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of action movies, the government and the agencies
very territorial,
and just very reckless about everything.
Yeah,
in this movie, they're like, these monsters are running wild. Instead of listening to the experts, let's just drop the biggest bomb we have onto a city that is one of the most highly populated in the United States.
Oh, yeah. They're going to wipe out Chicago.
They're dropping an atomic bomb on Chicago.
Basically, what kind of idiot? And I've gotten angry when this makes me blow up if I'm in an argument or something. If you're about to tell somebody something and they're like, I don't want to hear it. No, just don't even say it. I don't want to hear it. You're like, but now you're not going to know this thing.
It's like you can make your decision, but you should at least hear my side of things and go against it if you want.
Yes, right, exactly. Like before you do this thing that could be potentially harmful, don't you want to hear? No, not another word from you. Fucking crazy ass FBI.
My biggest notes on this one is that the 911 response time in this movie is phenomenal. Because when George breaks out of the observatory or whatever it is, the enclosure, sanctuary, The Rock is running out of the building and he says, call 911. And then before he gets to the end of the street, the cops show up.
Yeah.
So shout outs to our first responders in the world of Rampage because they are doing their job while the government is trying to kill everybody. Another big note. the actual video game Rampage exists in this world of Rampage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg. They show it in the office for the fucking villains, which leads me to believe, like, hey, you've got source material here on like these monsters and how to stop them. And like what they do.
Please, if they're not going to listen to scientists, there's no way they're going to listen to a video game.
I don't know. I thought that was very weird. And then I don't know. Like maybe that's why they wanted to create the monsters, those fucking evil people. If they have Rampage just laying around, they're like, hey, we've got a ton of money, we can do this thing. But also, like, that doesn't make sense because it happened by total circumstance and like luck that those three monsters came about.
So what happens is, in the beginning of the film, some shit from space that they're testing this stuff out in space because it's not safe for the Earth. It comes crashing down to Earth and it hits three animals, and the first one that they see the change in is this albino gorilla, George. And he immediately kills a grizzly bear.
Yep.
He kills a grizzly bear, and he's growing at this exponential rate. And this takes place in San Diego. And there's this really big dilemma as to what do you do with George? Because something's clearly gotten into him. This isn't George's character, but he's done these things. What do we do? Do we put him down? Do we hit him with some tranquilizers? None of this would be a problem if this happened in the Cincinnati Zoo.
No, definitely not.
The first fucking sign of trouble, George would have been like, is George's hair a little different? Done. They would have Harambe that
I did not even
motherfucker,
think of that.
poor
so
guy.
Good for you.
I know that I was watching that when they're having this discussion as to what to do, and they're like listening to sides of arguments. There was no fucking question asking with Harambe. They just shot him immediately.
You know what the difference is, though? George is white.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Rampage, this is political commentary.
This is I was going to say, is it problematic, or are they just shoving some harsh truths in our face?
Rampage being a deep movie is not something that I expected.
I would say, not problematic. I think that they're telling us it's
a social commentary, political commentary. So. What did you think of The Rock's friends at the beginning of the movie? The people that he worked with.
Well, so he worked with, or he was showing three people the ropes with gorillas. One was trying to shtup him. And he said no because he doesn't
like hanging out with dogs.
Yeah, he doesn't like
big win
humans.
for him.
Right? Yeah, that was he was. So this girl was like, "Hey, if you're free after this, I'd like to do some things that would lead to sex if that's cool." And he was like, "Sorry, I've got plans." And then a guy comes up to him and is like, "Why are you always doing that? Ladies are always trying to fuck, and you're always saying no." And he's like, "I prefer dogs to people."
Which,
and he was like, you're such a weirdo. And I was like, have you ever seen a bumper sticker, dude?
Yeah, but But was that an insinuation that, like, hey, The Rock likes to fuck dogs in this movie?
I don't think so. It's not that kind of political commentary.
You never know. Yeah. They don't show it.
Yeah.
They don't even show his dogs, which I have a problem with.
Well, essentially what ends up happening is he just ends up with a hotter girl at the end. So
yes, which they don't actually like show. I feel like a lot of this movie was cut. Yeah, because they never go back to the people that he works with.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be I thought that was going to be like the cast.
Yeah, same. Yeah. They never go back to that. They don't really finish his storyline, and so I feel like they cut a good portion of this movie.
Yeah, but in fairness, the well-being of the city of Chicago is more important than the well-being of those three fucking dorks. Although the girl that was trying to shtup him was quite pretty.
Yeah.
And she had some what'd she have going on with her hair?
Little pink
little fluffies in there.
Yeah. How'd you feel about Joe Manganiello?
Awesome. And I loved this about Joe Manganiello. They put him in it and killed him off immediately. And I thought when they showed him, I was like, oh yeah, so Joe Manganiello is good enough to be like the second lead in this movie. And I thought that he was going to be the main bad guy, Nope.
No, I
Malin
didn't.
Ackerman and Plop.
I didn't think that he was going to be the main bad guy. I thought that he was going to be
In it more than 1 second?
Yeah, I thought that he was going to survive his scene and then go back and team up with The Rock.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been fucking...
He looks great in it.
Yeah, he does. He's full of scars.
Right.
He's been through some shit.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
They muck up two big people in this movie. So The Rock is looking very all mucked up, and Joe Manganiello is he works for one of
Special
those
forces.
things in...
He's like a mercenary.
Right. They have these a lot in 24. Like non-government
Independent, independent
militaries.
agencies.
Yeah. So it's like if you need a team to go fight a bunch of people, whether or not this fight has been sanctioned by anything, you hire these people. And he looks like that's his side job, and his main job is just like fucking working on bikes because he's all greased up.
One thing that you probably did not pick up on, you didn't play Rampage.
I was going to say,
right?
I actually realized as I was watching this movie, I was like, Rampage like the video game. I played that.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So you didn't understand that?
I think I rented Rampage.
But so you didn't know going in that this was like
I knew that it was based on a video game, but I just didn't put two and two together.
I liked a lot of the things that they did in reference to the game, like the monsters actually like climbing up buildings and fucking punching out buildings and shit. That was cool. Also, but like the coolest thing that they did, and it was pretty subtle, is that when Malin Ackerman, when she gets eaten, she's wearing a red dress.
Yeah.
And in Rampage, the video game, there's like a little pixelated woman who shows up every once in a while in one of the buildings, and if you get her, you can grab her and you can eat her.
Well, so this was a bit of a leap for this monster movie, I must say. They have a tranquilizer that will, or they have the antidote to what's making these monsters so nut bars. So they're like, how are we going to feed it to George? Because their thinking is, if we make George back to normal, he's a good guy, so he'll calm these guys down. So they're like, how are we going to do it? They put it in Ackerman's bag and have George eat her, but we had not seen George eat a person throughout this whole thing.
She was the first person.
He's stomping through cities and doing all this stuff. And
he had plenty of opportunities to eat people.
Oh, he could have fucking feasted. Yeah. And she's the one that's looking good to him, which, in fairness, she's always looking good. But, I don't know. You know what? She was looking like a snack.
Oh,
so he ate her.
Yeah, but she is so small in relation to George that he would have needed multiple snacks.
That's true.
That was very unrealistic.
And they've been feeding Plop the whole time. They've been fattening him up.
That's true. He was the much more attractive option there.
Yes, absolutely. That is my final thought on Rampage. But there were some fun previews. We got a new Shailene Woodley movie coming. Did you see it?
No.
It's
I walked in just as the movie was starting.
Oh, you had the best fucking setup for this movie.
This was the best theater experience that I've had in a long time. I arrived, walked into the theater. The movie was literally starting. Ugh. It was perfect timing. I had chicken tenders. First time I've ever gotten chicken tenders at the movie theater. They were pretty good. I went to Woburn Showcase Cinemas and credit to Woburn Showcase Cinemas because they have trays of sauce.
Really?
Yeah, like the peel back chicken nugget sauce.
Man.
They had barbecue, they had honey mustard, they had sweet and sour. It was a delight. So I was the only person in the theater, which is wild because this is the first weekend that Rampage has been out, correct? Or maybe it's this was midweek. Never mind.
Right, yeah, it came out last
It was
week.
midweek, but it did come out like days ago.
Yeah.
And this was a 3:00 showing, which isn't like a really weird time.
Yeah.
I go to 3:00 around there all the time at Burlington, and there's always people in the theater. So I was shocked. I was literally the only person in the theater, and I got to eat my chicken tenders as loud as I wanted to.
That is awesome. You're like, yum, 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 yum. What is your go-to dipping sauce for a chicken tender?
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, there are only two options. This is going to be controversial. It's ketchup or barbecue sauce.
I had honey mustard too.
My number one is barbecue, but I think that honey mustard is quite overrated.
I think honey mustard's really good.
It is.
But I got it just to kind of hot tub the barbecue sauce because because once you go away for something for like a couple bites and then you return to it, you're like, oh, I fucking love
and
this.
Ketchup and barbecue are tough to do together because they're
similar. Yeah.
It's like
barbecue sauce, just like spicy mustard, sort of.
Yeah,
But
you mean spicy ketchup?
Spicy ketchup. That's what I meant.
I love barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce is definitely my numero uno. What's your favorite Sweet Baby Ray's variety?
I think honey bourbon or honey bourbon.
Oh, I didn't know that one existed. So there's the my favorite after, and I've done them all a million times.
Maybe it's just regular bourbon barbecue.
I don't know they have
they have a bourbon one, and it's the best one.
Okay, the best one is the original one.
Really?
Yeah, it's everyone loves the it's honey something, and that's good, but not as good as the original. And there's a sweet Vidalia onion one. That one is terrific.
You know who
there's
has
a hot and spicy.
You know who has really, really, really good
Sweet and
barbecue sauce is Jack Daniels.
Yeah. I'm not as big on the bourbon or on the like whiskey based barbecue sauces.
Really?
Yeah, because
wrong. Also, Jack Daniels has
I don't like
really good steak sauce.
I just realized why, because I don't like stuff in my whiskey. So I don't like a whiskey Coke. Whiskey ginger is basically candy, so everyone can enjoy that. But I just like
Are you a steak sauce guy?
No.
Really?
No.
I love steak sauce.
But I wish it were more socially acceptable to to just every now and then just dip your steak in a little bit of ketchup. It's controversial.
Ew, no. I love steak sauce,
like
but A1's kind of trash, and that's the most popular one. Jack Daniels is 10 times better than A1 in terms of like popular brands. But I will say one thing that I love about Five Guys is that they have A1 on the menu and as an option.
Really?
Yeah, like you can get A1 on your Five Guys burger, and I do it all the time. It's the best.
I'm gonna clarify my steak thing. So when I'm eating steak, especially in a restaurant, obviously you don't put anything on it. You trust what they fucking did to it. Mm-hmm. And if you make steak yourself, you're not putting anything on it. But if you have like this is big in the summer, if you're grilling and stuff, you got some leftover steak, anything like that in the fridge, you don't reheat it. Because if you put it in the microwave, it's going to turn into fucking rubber, or leather, whatever. I would just do it cold, and
that seems like it could be acceptable.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a little spin on a steak and cheese. Do you put ketchup on your steak and cheese?
Yeah. Ooh. See, it's way weirder to me to think about like a regular block steak,
right,
and dipping ketchup in that. Rather than steak and cheese, which is fucking phenomenal with ketchup for some reason.
What you putting on your steak and cheese, bro?
Ketchup and cheese.
That's it?
Yeah.
No mushrooms?
No.
Are you not a boomers guy?
No.
No onions?
Nope.
One time, this was back in the day when, so there were 2 years of my life that I worked. It's the only term for it, but it's not what I was doing. Because look at me, construction. And man, those were kind of the days. It was miserable. It was the worst. You worked all day in the fucking sun. That's labor, man. And nothing tasted better than your lunch. And then when you got done, you'd have dinner and then just fucking go to sleep. It was one summer of high school that I started doing it, and I saved so much money because I literally did not have the energy to go out and do anything.
Yeah, I that's like my nightmare job, is a job where you do it and then you have no energy to do anything else, so you just go home and go to bed.
It was great though. Like I bet that I was like I probably wasn't very depressed or anything like that because I just
don't have time to be depressed.
Right. Like I wasn't thinking about anything. The only thing I existed to do was work.
That is awful.
Yeah. It was terrible, and obviously I wasn't fucking good at it or anything. So my
Shocking.
My value
Shocking that you weren't good at construction
or at anything. My value to anything is I'm an energy guy, for better or worse. You cannot like my energy. I totally understand that, but I'm pepping the whole fucking situation up. So I was the guy that was like, hey, look at this fucking thing. Get a fucking laugh a quarter of the time, whatever. But those fucking lunches, man. You just fucking get sandwiches or whatever, and you would just inhale it, and no matter what it would be, sometimes you get a sandwich, they'd fuck up the order, it would have mayonnaise on it. I hate mayonnaise, and it just
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I actually love that feeling when you're so hungry that you'll eat anything, and I don't know. So one time we were getting subs, and I was like, hey, I'll get a steak and cheese with I try to make it simple. Normally I would do a bunch of stuff. Maybe I was like with ketchup and mushrooms, and the guy misheard me and got me a steak and cheese with ketchup and mustard.
Oh,
wouldn't do it again, but
not as bad as you thought.
Right, like not as bad as I thought, and I had that fucking work hunger situation going. It was quite awesome.
There you go.
You know what I've been eating a lot of late?
What?
Be Good. You know Be Good?
No.
It's like
I do know. Yes.
I think it's the same place that's had a
restaurant,
million
right?
different names over the years. But they have sweet potato fries.
Okay.
And man, I think I've said this. I either said this or tweeted this. I've officially become I like sweet potato fries more than I like French fries.
You're wrong.
I know I'm wrong.
Yes.
Isn't that so fucking weird though? Because I'm the ultimate fucking give me a hamburger and fries, and that's all I fucking need in this life of sin.
Yeah, it's I don't do sweet potato fries. For some reason, they don't do it for me. I need regular fries, or
them.
The only thing that I'll substitute for regular fries is waffle fries, because waffle fries are the best, or curly fries.
Waffle fries are great. How do you dip your waffle fry?
You don't. You put it on top.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I liked, when the waffle fry is like not cut all the way through, so so one side of it doesn't have the holes in it.
Yeah.
I like to dip that side down, like just kind of drag it across the ketchup, get a nice little coat. Man, waffle fries are sick. Do you think that Applebee's has waffle fries?
Maybe. Are we gonna find out?
We really have to do the Dollaritas thing,
but we're running out of time. It's
really?
only through April.
Limited time only?
Yes.
We were going to do it this weekend. We were going to go to Anthony Jeselnik on Saturday night, but work and you moving got in the way. Now I'm going to Anthony Jeselnik tonight in Portland, Maine, and I was quite excited. The tickets were expensive or whatever. They were all sold out. Or no, the only tickets available were like trash-ass fucking balcony seats and
whatever.
Look, I don't do those, okay? Yeah. I've grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
For a comedy show, it doesn't fucking matter.
It really doesn't. I was like, just fucking spend $30, sit in the back.
I've only sat on the floor once at a comedy show, and it was for fucking Sinbad, and I was right up on stage at one of those tables.
I forgot that you
It ruled.
Yeah, it is really cool. So I just searched on Twitter, Anthony Jeselnik Portland, and an hour earlier, someone had tweeted, like 2 hours earlier or whatever, really bummed I can't make it to Anthony Jeselnik in Portland tomorrow night, but if anyone wants my tickets, I've got 6th row tickets. So I DM'd the guy, and I was like, what are you looking for? And he was like, just trying to get my money back. So $40 a piece.
Wow.
Got them, Johns. Damn. Very, very easy, super easy transfer, and it happened really quickly, and I was like, oh, great. Oh, fuck. I'm sitting in the 6th row at an Anthony Jeselnik show. Chances are I could be involved in some crowd work. That is the last fucking thing I could ever want. So now I'm actually kind of worried. I'm like, fuck, I really should have gotten balcony.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with my sister, who's a huge Anthony Jeselnik fan.
I was going to say you should bring somebody that you like don't care about and that's easy to make fun of more so than you.
Fucking pass it off.
Deflect.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I was texting with one of my friends who lives in Portland, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Portland for a second, but I don't have time to hang out or anything. Just letting you know, I'm going to be in Portland. All right. Talk to you later.
I'm really jealous that I can't go.
Would have been easier to dump it off on her than my sister.
I'm really, really jealous that I can't go because, or really, really jealous that you're going, not that I can't go. But I fucking love Portland so much.
Portland's great. Well, this whole thing stinks because I'm just going there and back because I have to work tomorrow. And I would have loved to. I'm off today, which I didn't know. I would have just done like a brewery day, fucking brought Emilio, unbeknownst to the owners of Emilio.
I don't think you can do that because then you'd have to bring Emilio to the show.
Oh, that'd be awesome. He'd be like,
then you'd for sure get called
how
out.
about you? What's your deal? And Emilio would be like,
this is my service dog.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, I would have been like, this is my therapy dog.
See this nose?
Yeah.
I need therapy.
No. Again,
I know.
I'll
You
never be
fucking
upset
love
about
your
the nose. No, and really, I've only gotten like 5 insults total in my life about the nose. Like, oh yeah, go back to having a
That's
weird
not
nose.
true. I've seen like 1 million on Twitter.
I really think they've been few and far between. Maybe they're from people I've muted, but
Maybe.
yeah, you'd be crazy to fucking insult some like a prominent feature of somebody's face, unless it's like gross.
Yeah. Speaking of gross, they aired a horror trailer before Peter Rabbit showing, and was it in the UK this week?
Australia. Yeah.
Well, they're up behind on the times.
Yeah.
Peter Rabbit's hot, and there's hot shit there. But they aired or they screened a trailer for.
Or they
like
just showed it during the previews. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty horrific horror trailer.
We
Did
both
you
watched
watch
the preview.
Okay.
It was quite scary. So here's the story, courtesy of Uprocks. 1 minute, you're a carefree child who's waiting to see an animated bunny. The next, you're forever traumatized by the trailer for this year's scariest movie. And I would actually say that is a fair...
That looks like this year's scariest movie. And it is from the A24 studios. They usually make creepy-ass shit.
Yes.
They did A Killing of a Sacred Deer last year.
Didn't see that. Did you see that?
Yes. Very fucking weird.
The preview had... The ickiest thing for me was there was just a bunch of clicking sounds the whole preview. Did you notice that? They were just like...
It's a very, like... creepy, like eerie movie that has that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and they showed it, and people were horrified. Said, mother, it was dreadful. Very quickly, you could tell this was not a kid's film. Parents were yelling at the projectionist to stop, covering their kids' eyes and ears. A few went out to get a staff member, but she was overwhelmed and didn't really know what to do. Some parents fled the cinemas with their kids in tow. Eventually, a senior staff member came in with a walkie-talkie, and he shut the screen off. To his credit, he apologized and offered us a complimentary movie pass to make up for it. Awful. So we watched the preview. It even, in case for some reason you're not catching on to the fact that this is a really creepy thing, the preview was doing the thing where it has the little quotes from reviews. So during the preview, it says, a modern-day horror masterpiece. Another one, grips you with real horror, the unspeakable kind. And then, terrifying. This is a horror movie.
It has... Oh, it's not one of those previews that like leaves you guessing.
Yeah.
There is a lot of, hey, this is going to be in the movie. There's like a person with flies all over their goddamn face.
Person on fire.
Yeah.
It
is wild. It is like the wildest horror trailer that you could show to a bunch of kids.
That's a preview that I remember when I saw The Purge, not The Purge Anarchy, Election Year, the one that has Donald Trump's re-election slogan, which is "Keep America Great." I was like, oh yeah, all excited to watch this. Same with when I saw the Belko Experiment, and then you get that there and you sit down for the previews because you're like, I'm going to watch this stupid, silly horror movie that we can all laugh about. And then you're like,
all the trailers are horror movies.
The trailers are fucking scary things. And I considered yelling at the projectionist.
The scariest part of that trailer is just how ugly the little girl is.
Oh my God.
She is horrifying looking.
She looks bad.
And
they're like, oh, you're your mother. You're your mother. It's like, mother.
The movie could just be about that girl and what's going on there.
Right. Then you guys should have made this a She's All That type of movie because she goes from looking like that little girl to that cute-ass mom.
Yeah, and that is not a mistake because...
Kids in your class, start like holding hands with her because she's gonna look like the mom.
The weird people and the creepy looking people always make it out in horror movies.
Yeah.
Because in The Killing of the Sacred Deer, there's that kid Barry Cohen.
Yep.
Who's the kid who dies in Dunkirk.
Oh.
Who is very weird looking and very creepy.
Does he die? So he's just they kill him all the time.
Yeah.
He's like Kenny.
He doesn't die in The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
In other movie news, they are making a sequel to A Quiet Place, and I saw KFC tweet this. I completely agree with them. I don't want a sequel.
No.
I want a prequel.
Yeah, you want an explanation as to how this shit happened.
Fucking Fear the Walking Dead this to me, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that is 100%. I agree with that.
Because I would also like John Krasinski to be in it again.
That is true, but he could be in the second one, couldn't he?
he gets eaten hard.
Oh, that is
in the
correct.
second one.
Fuck.
Yeah, unless
That is-
there's a Pinocchio type situation.
Yeah, it's just that completely blanked my mind. Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I liked the fact that the first one didn't explain how this should happen. It just throws you into the world. I would like, if they're going to make a second one, they should put more effort into like the story.
Yes, I would like this to be a wonderful franchise, but I'm not going to see it in theaters. I can promise you that.
Really?
I'm going to be, I'll fucking wait. I don't want another
I'll see it in
fucking...
theaters.
what a fucking shitty experience
I'm
that
gonna choose a weirder time to go.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, you could do that. But the weird times is when the old people go to the movies. So even if there's only 3 people in the theater, it's going to be you and fucking an old person eating a tuna sandwich and then an old person who's fucking snoring when they're awake. Like Emilio. They just sit there.
You know what's making a comeback?
What?
E.Coli.
Oh, yeah. Salads?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it couldn't be me. I'm eating those sweet potato fries. That's how I'm healthy.
Every time I hear E. coli in my head, I just say it like the Ricola commercials.
E.Coli.
E.Coli.
That makes me think of when Pam gets the job at Dunder Mifflin in New York. And so Michael knows where she is. And he just calls Pamola. Pamola.